If you happen to live within a reasonable distance of a target and been lucky enough to find this kit, you already know all about them. But if not, stick around. Now, this kit, and along with the other battle log kits, I believe they've only been released to Targets, the big box stores, and only other place I've been able to find this guy and a few of the others for pre-order is at Gundam Planet, and I believe it's on their site says it's not going to be released until about January. So that's the reason statement about if you're close to Target, you have a chance of actually getting a hold of this kit. But let's get into the review of this guy, and we'll start off with the accessories he comes with. And one of the accessories is you got about 3 runners here of spare parts, and from what I can tell you got some feet parts, but you do, I believe, have all the parts to create the original Quant's head, maybe some of the bust and everything, and like some of the front skirt armor here and things like that. But that's about all you get with the spare parts out of the kit. And of course you have the ever obligatory sticker sheet, which this looks like it's quite a bit on here, but really the placement on these is not bad, and pretty much all these little gold yellow ones you see are either sights or they are for the GN condensers, like on the joints and the knees and elbows and stuff, and I'll point those out when we get over articulation and everything. But one nice thing about this kit, as you can see, his whole loadout is all packed up on him. He can carry everything he has, and you can see here it is quite a loadout. So we'll start by going over the accessories and pulling them off of him. You see here he has this beam rifle, of course, which is pretty nicely detailed and quite a big fella. And he has you can see here the sort of bayonet on it. These are all parts, I believe, from the original Quant, and the little bladed bits for the shield. So they've repurposed a lot of those into the design of this guy. But these simply, pop into the hand, and it just snaps into the forearm there, so this always has a very nice grip to it, and it never falls out or anything like that. And I believe you're supposed to be able to store this back here. Yeah, you can store it back here on the backpack, just as simple as that. Slides in a little peg, holds the handle there. And for the next accessory is, of course, this sword here, if we get it off there. And that just pegs into the little hole back here, which works pretty nicely. The only thing I don't like is you have that peg sticking out of the back right there, or the side of the handle. It's the only thing that annoys me a little bit, but that's really not, that's just me nitpicking. And then of course you have his shield as well, which has a beam cannon, I believe, mounted up underneath it, which looks pretty cool. This thing's pretty neat. It's multi-layered too, so the way it's put together is really nice. I like the design of it. And that of course slots into the hand there as well, and like the rifle, mounts onto the forearm there, so it has a good hold on that. It doesn't fall off or anything. But it also has 2 of these knives here as well, which will also, just as simple as the other 2 weapons, slides into the hand there, and they fit in there very nicely. Square handle, square hole, works good. Now this is the only set of hands you have that come with this. It's just the typical high-grade holding hands, which nothing wrong with that at all. But we'll start on the We'll get started on the articulation now, and we'll start from the head and work our way down. Now before we move on, I actually want to correct myself and show y'all there it does actually come with a nice open expressive hand. Just want to correct myself on that real quick. But onto the finer details of the MS itself. Going over stickers, you have this one right here, which is a sight for the rocket launcher here. Also has the one of those little gold round circles stickers down in there, foil one, which gives it some nice depth. Actually looks pretty cool. I don't know if you can really tell it on camera, but in person it looks really nice. And also on the rocket launcher here, that is a separate red piece in there. So this kit does have some nice part separation for the colors and everything, which I was very impressed with. And then of course you have more stickers here, like I said, for the condensers there, one here on the leg. And the worst stickers you'll find are here on the feet, and it's a black gray sticker or whatever that you have to kind of mold and fold over this part of the foot. It's not terrible, but that is the worst offender when it comes to stickers. The rest are all pretty straightforward and simple. Not a problem there, of course the typical eyes and the camera on the back of the head and stuff. But we'll get on to the articulation here, starting with the rocket launcher, which will move back and forth like so, and it also can move in that manner as well. So you got plenty of movement there, and of course forward and back is just pegged into a polycap there in the backpack. So plenty of movement on that. This here can rotate back and forth, and that is all it does. It doesn't move any other direction or anything. And as for the head, it's the typical high-grade polycap, and you get a little bit of a chicken neck there. It doesn't look up very much. Looks down alright, not too bad there. Little side tilt there, not much there either. And that's about, from side to side, about all you're probably really going to get on that. But I will state, the look of his eyes in there, just kind of recessed back in there and around all that bulk of the armor and stuff around the head, looks really nice. You get that little bit of a glow to it from there. Now, moving our own way down, of course your shoulders here. They are in a polycap that swings forward. Can't get the arm up more than, say, 90 degrees because of the bulk of this armor and everything. Which, of course, is just one of the nice appeals to this kit is, you know, the original Quant is very lean, sort of agile-looking MS, but this one is just full of bulk and just armored up. But get it up to there. Of course, got good rotation there. You can do a 360 if you want it to. And the elbow here, technically, I guess you kind of have a double joint. You can see where it bends there, and then keep that straight. If I can get it to, there we go, and they have a bend there, but you kind of only get a 90 degree out of it. But if you kind of finagle it a little bit, you get a little bit more and everything. So it has a bit of a different sort of elbow joint there, which gives you more than plenty of what you're going to want, or need, I guess. And then also here, this armor piece, right through here in the wrist, you can see right in there where it connects down in there. That whole bit there also has its own bit of articulation as well, so you get a fair amount here and there through the arm, which is pretty interesting. Then of course the hands are a typical ball and socket up in there. Now for the torso, there's not much movement at all. Oop, pop that off there. Pop it back in. You know, a little bit of wiggle in the top of the torso there. Not really in side to side, not much there at all. But not a huge downside to it. Your front skirt, of course, is on a little ball in there, ball and socket, so you get a little wiggle room there and everything, which it doesn't really get in the way with the design because it comes up so high and stuff. And of course your side skirts, ball and socket, you can get forward and back out of those. A little bit of up, not too much though. They will be in the way if you want to try and do any splits or any high moves. And the back skirt, of course, is stuck there, it ain't going anywhere. Oh, and before I forget, while it's on my mind, here on the arm is the only place you'll find a seam line. You can see it right there on the top of the upper arm. It runs across through there, and of course the other arm is the same exactly across it. And then you can see it running down. They kind of hide it a little bit, but you can still see it down off in here, and up here at the top is pretty noticeable. So there's that seam line. This arm has one too as well. There's a little piece here that covers that up quite well. Snap it on there. You only see a little tiny bit of it there at the top. But that's the only seam line that there really is that I can remember an issue with on this whole kit. So that's pretty darn nice overall. But we'll move on with the articulation here. And you can kind of get the leg up pretty decent. About 90, maybe a little bit more. Then of course the knee bend. You don't get a full bend out of that. You got this armor back here in the way. So... and it's not a double jointed knee or anything, it's just a single joint, so you'll get it down to right about there. And if you noticed, this right here also moves back and forth as well. I believe it was the same armor part on the Quant as well, but it's just a different shape and design and everything. Then you got the armor piece here for the knee, which that doesn't move or anything, and that little red piece in there is also a separate piece. This slots down in there, so that's very nice detail. And this little bit of ankle armor down here, you get a little bit of play with it, not too terribly much, but you get a little bit of play. And for the feet, you get a decent back. In the front, with that ankle armor moving up out of the way and stuff, it goes up pretty well. And then of course you see from the design, it has a very good side to side, so no complaints about the feet there at all. But as you can tell, it's got its limitations here and there. But overall, the articulation is not bad, especially for more of a ground unit that's so bulked up and with all the armor and everything. But we'll put him in a few poses, and I'll go over some of my final thoughts on this guy. Now, I believe Bandai did a great job on redesigning the Quant on this. They took it from its typical, well-known streamlined, sleek design to this armored up, bulky version of it, and it still keeps a lot of the aesthetics that the Quant originally has. And I think they really did a good job on this kit, doing the transition and everything. I mean, if this is something that you're into, the nice, bulky, armored up guy with a complete loadout, I highly recommend you pick up this kit. And if you don't have a Target or anything nearby for you to kind of stake out, and try to find these kits, I recommend you go ahead and pre-order this one. Like I said, as time of filming or whatever, all I really could find was it on pre-order for GundamPlanet.com. And if I think about it, I'll put a link to it down in the description below. But overall, I say if you pick up this guy, you won't be disappointed, guys. It was fun, it was a great build, and I love it. But until next time, guys, later.